Okay, right now we're going to explore some acoustic blues in the key of E, which is a great key for blues because you got a lot of open strings, and it's a very twangy key. That's why us guitar players love it. I just played a little rhythm passage for you, and I'm going to be building on that a little bit as we go. But before we do, I want to show you how that goes and why it goes the way it does. This is a basic 12-bar blues, and many of you have heard this before, so bear with me. But it's important to have, I'm doing this with a flat pick because I think for this kind of thing, a pick is really nice percussively, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm doing some muffling on this. You'll hear this when I play this. And muffling is really important, especially in acoustic guitar playing, but electric as well, as we'll find out. Because when you play something without muffle, it sounds good, but it's not quite as tight as when we muffle it. And dynamically, muffling is really something that makes a blues track punchy, you know, and you'll hear it in all kinds of music. But you'll notice that I'm muffling here with my right hand. So if you can look at what I'm doing with the heel of my hand while I'm playing, it's very helpful. And this eludes a lot of early, musicians, so they don't know what that is. And so check this out. I'm going to go ahead and play that 12-bar passage and listen to the muting on this. So it goes like this. Now again, many of you have heard that a million times and you're probably very familiar with it. You'll notice I'm probably doing it a little bit different each time. I'll do little bends, or I'll do a little, that's all the personality. Drag the pick. We'll get into that as we go along on this, because this is a really important part of acoustic blues. It's the nuance of it. It's the voicings, the tone. I'm going to talk about the 4 T's as we get along with this, but tone, touch, timing, and taste are the 4 T's. And I'm going to start on that now, although it applies probably a little bit more when we get into electric, especially from the tone. But when we talk about tone, it's like where you hit the string is important. Notice how that's got a lot of twang to it. If I'm doing something where I want a little softer touch, I'm going to play it down here. Here it's a lot softer, a lot bassier, right? And then I might want to go down back to the treblier sound, which is closer to the bridge. And I might want to soften up to a kind of a authoritative there, right? Hear that tone changes when I get closer to the bridge. Totally different tone. So we're going to explore that throughout the next sessions. And but what I want to do now is go back to our original where we started here with the 12-bar blues. Now we've got a basic rhythm pattern going, which we've done with the pick, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a vocabulary of licks, because you want as many licks as you can in each key. The more, it's like a language. The more vocabulary you have, you have a much wider palette, a much richer palette to draw from. And that's really what makes a player, I think, an interesting player, is where can you go? With your vibrato, and your tone, and your feel. It's got a swing. Feel how that swings? So So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a series of licks, okay, in the key of E. What's interesting about these is they all work all the time. You got to love that. It's like the black keys on a piano. They all work all the time, as long as you're in the right key. And in this case, what I'm teaching you in the key of E, to some degree, because every key has a different voicing, you can utilize as you go along in any key. So what I'd like to do is, right now I'm just going to have a little basis for what I'm playing, the little rhythm that I just did, and I'm going to show you several licks in all four, three positions that we play in, the 1, the 4, and the 5, and the walk downs. And I'm also going to show you a couple of turnarounds, again, that always work. A turnaround is something where you go. We've all heard that, right? But I'm going to show you a couple that you might not have heard. So here we go with the rhythm track behind me. I'm now going to show you a series of licks in the key of E. Okay, what I'm going to do now is break down those two licks for you. I'm going to take these two at a time, okay? So we're in the key of E, and what's happening is the first lick we do is basically, when you tune your guitar, you hit a... Everybody knows how to do that, right? Well, that's your first lick. How's that for simplicity? So you go... Now you drop your first finger on your G note on your E string, so it's a little vibrato. To your sort of your E minor, that's the 7th fret, with your first finger on your B string, and your first finger is on your E string, second finger on your B string, and you want to shake it a little. Personality in there, and then up to your octave, the Chuck Berry lick, and on the 4 chord, you go to very kind of a twangy lick. And that's kind of a cool 7th here. What you have is your first finger is on your C sharp note on your B string here. And your third finger, that's your second finger. Your third finger is on your high G. So off of an E, it sounds like this. If you were down low, use that a lot in the blues. But it's also got a little bit of rock and roll in it. And back to your octave down here. So that's a pull off there from the E to the D. Okay, that was an open G onto an E. So we'll hammer on if you want. So that's a good one. Makes everybody pay attention. Okay. Then when we go to the 5 chord, which is our B, right? Here's your lick. Okay, I'm going to slow that down for you. Okay. Again, it's that hammer on. Remember we had the hammer on a little while ago. You're basically looking at a B chord. Okay. There's your B chord. That's a partial version of it. So again, you're hammering on from the D to the E flat, okay? And then your first finger is going to hit, you're going to bar these two, okay? It's a really common blues rock and roll lick. Got that? See how I'm doing that? So the first half is, then you go to the 7th, and it's a pull off. So, it's a good lick. See how I pulled that off? There's many variations, but for now, we'll just repeat this one. So here's your B. Same exact lick in the A position. And then I want you to hit a low E and just do a little walk down. Everybody get that one? So look like a G chord there. Okay, you got your B on your G string. Your second finger's on your D note on your B string. So, and you just chromatically walk down. Again, we did this, I think, already, but. So now I'm going to play out that whole lick as it stands without a backing so you can hear it. I'm going to play it in a little bit slower than normal time so you can actually see what I'm doing. So it's. Shake a little bit. Octave. That's the first of the two licks, okay? Now in this next lick I'm going to give you, which I just recorded for you, this one's a little bit different because this one is a phrasing that repeats. What you'll find in the blues and also rock and roll, sometimes repeating is really powerful. And there's a specific lick, the Bo Diddley lick that I'm going to show you in a minute that really speaks to that. What it is when you're playing over changes, sometimes you don't want to go with the changes. Sometimes you want to hang right at the one because it creates tension. And sometimes you want to go with the changes. You want to mix it up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do two different things. We're going to mix it up on the next passage, but on this one we're going to go with the changes, okay? So we just did that first lick, okay? This is the one I just showed you. Now, here's the second lick. It goes like this. Very simple, right? But very melodic. Again, we're hammering on the major chord, starting on a G note on the octave, right? Okay? Then again, we're barring the B and the E string. That's the phrasing of it. Pretty simple. You wouldn't believe how much house this lick gets when you do it right. Then you go to the A chord, same exact lick, A position, right? Back to E. Then to the B position, same lick. Back to A. Back to E. Okay? So there's those two licks that we just did with an E rhythm behind them. You heard what it sounds like with a rhythm. That was the breakdown of those two licks, okay? Now we're going to go back to the rhythm track that the very first rhythm track, and I'm going to show you two new licks to add to this vocabulary. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there you have more licks in the key of E. What I want to do now is show you what I did and how I did it. Obviously, we're still, doing this little E shuffle, and what I had going here is I did a little repetition. Remember I mentioned that if you stay in the same key and you don't change with the changes, a lot of times it has a little tension to it. So I did a... Then we went to A, same lick. and back to E. And then I went to our regular. And then back to. And then we went to. Okay, in case you don't know that ninth chord, I'm just going to show you right now. Obvious blues chord, we use it a lot. James Brown uses it a lot. Used all the time. So in this case, in the rhythm part, I hit a low E seventh, right? I went, and here, back to E seventh. However, if I was playing lead against that, someone else is playing rhythm, I would probably play the ninth chord against that. So when somebody's playing this, it sounds good for you to play, if you're doing lead, up here. Right, you got a different voicing. So basically the lick, the rhythm lick is lead. And then all the way up to the octave here, the A position. Okay? And then this is the next lick. This is a really good tension release thing. You go to this lick. Okay? And this incorporates, once again, that little, or you can even come, so you see I'm coming from way down here to this A lick. Okay, so we're going to the 4 chord here, and here's our little vocabulary lick. We go here, so you got a C sharp, to an E note on your B string. Then you do a chromatic walk down. Very effective. To the 7th, to the E. Very effective. Once again, repetition is the key here. So here's the full lick.